This deposition of Julissa Chavez is being conducted remotely via Zoom. Today's date is February 25th, 2025. The time is approximately 1:10 p.m. Ms. Chavez, in what city are you located?
City of Homestead.
Thank you. My name is Sylvia Evans. I'm administering the oath and reporting this deposition remotely. I have already seen the witness's identification. Would counsel please state your appearance for the record and express your stipulation that the deposition and oath may take place remotely?
Sam Zestan, voice Sirota for the defendant, City of Homestead, so stipulate.
Dr. James McDonough, the pro se plaintiff, I stipulate.
Raise your right hand, Ms. Chavez. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, can you please state your full name for the record?
Julissa Chavez Mata.
Thank you. Have you ever been deposed before?
No.
Okay. Some really simple rules. First, if you need to take a break at any time, just say so. If you need to use the bathroom or anything, no worries. I'm expecting this to be pretty quick. During this examination, please allow me to finish a question before you respond. And if you don't hear or understand a question, please let me know, and I can either repeat it or try to rephrase it for you. Do you understand these instructions?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. When did you begin working for Homestead?
April 2013.
And what's your current position?
Deputy City Clerk.
And how long have you worked in this position?
7 years.
Do you have any special?
Sorry,
training?
8 years. 8 years, Dr. Madonna, 8 years.
But just approximate. That's fine. I'm not worried about the exact number of months or anything. Do you have any special training or education for your position?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Does that include training for public records?
Yes, definitely.
Could you explain some of the public records training you've received?
Sure. I received training concerning how to handle public records requests from the public. Let me see. I say that I received about roughly 4 separate public records requests training. How to handle the records requests, how to attend to it, how to get back to the customer, everything in a reasonable amount of time. Yes.
Okay, excellent. And have you been working with public records the whole time you've been in your position? I guess 7 or 8 years, roughly.
Yes, sir.
Would you say you're an expert in public records?
No.
No, okay.
But I know more than the.
No, that's fine. I just want your candid answer. That's perfect. To your knowledge, do my records requests get treated differently than anybody else's?
No. I don't think so. Not from my end, not from the city clerk position. No, sir.
Do my records requests automatically get, let me rephrase that, sorry. Do the city attorneys automatically get notified when I file a records request?
Automatically?
Let me rephrase that again. Maybe automatically is a bad word. When I file records requests, do my records requests get sent to the city attorneys, or the city attorneys get notified that I submitted a records request?
When a litigation matter is involved, I will always forward record requests related to litigation matters to the city attorneys, whether it's you, Dr. Madonna, or anybody.
Okay.
I want to clarify that it's not uncommon for the clerk's office to seek advice on how to respond to a request from someone engaged into litigation with the city, whether that concerns you, sir, or anybody else.
Okay. Do you happen to remember a telephone conversation you had with Mark Dickinson from James Madison Audits on or about June 2nd, 2020? That was a while back.
Yeah, the details, no, but that I do recall that name.
And do you possibly remember during a conversation with him that maybe you told him that when you respond to public records requests that you don't generally deal with the attorneys unless it's one of my records requests, then you're obligated and have no choice but to notify the attorneys?
Oh my
There's the
goodness.
form.
Dr. Madonna, I gotta say this. There was some sarcasm behind my response and likely an overstatement on my part. But when it comes to you, sir, anybody, but directly when it comes to you, I would handle your request just like I would do with anybody that has a litigation with the city. But that's the only response that I have. I
Oh,
have
okay.
I always like to treat anybody, whether it's you, Dr. Madonna, or anybody, with the respect that they deserve when they are requesting records.
And I really thank you for that, Julissa. And I'll go ahead and I'll put on the record. You've always treated me with the utmost respect and courtesy and been completely sweet. All the girls in the clerk's office, except for, in my opinion, Miss Sewell, have been the best government employees I've ever dealt with. And so none of this at all is anything on you. You're just the fact witness. So I need to ask questions.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So what you're saying is you maybe somewhat remember that conversation and any comment you made to the effect that my stuff automatically gets sent to the city attorneys, but nobody else's does. That was maybe an overstatement.
Yeah, that's an overstatement.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Yeah, and I apologize.
Oh, no, no need to apologize. I just, something I had to ask about.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let me see here. I want to pull up an exhibit. I'm going to call this exhibit 1. Let me go ahead. And this is the one that I sent to you. That's email to Carbolosa. And actually, I don't think it's Carbolosa. Actually, I think it's Camille, but that's what the title of that was. And let me get back to the Zoom and let me see if I can share the screen here. But if you can't see it, I sent it to you so you can open it up yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Can you see the email?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Are you familiar with this email?
Yeah, I see my name in there. Yes. It's been a minute, but yes, I do recognize me. I forward that to them. Yes.
And so you did write this email.
Yes, sir.
Can you explain to me what a police log is?
Well, we went back in that time, we use a log to make sure, since we have so many public records requests that come into our office, we have a log where we log everything in there. So at that time we had the police log, and then we have all the other city matters separate.
So you or the city clerk's office was in possession of this log?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Did
And I
you
was
create-
Mhm.
Did you create or work on this log?
Did I create a work on the log?
Did you?
I updated the log, yes.
That's all. I'm sure several people probably work on that. That's really my question was. Thank you for
Yes,
that.
sir.
So you're familiar with the records logs?
Yes.
Excellent. Let me stop sharing this. Stop share. Here we go. Okay. Next, I'd like to bring up the HPD log from 2019. Let me see if I can share this. This is probably going to be better for you to pull up on your own screen because it's probably not going to be very pretty on this one. Here we go. Can you see the log, Ms. Chavez?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Now, I'll just say this 2019 one, when I made the PDF, they didn't come out numbered. The other ones are numbered, so I'll refer to them by number. But this one, I'll refer to by date just to make it easier. Do you see the records request received on 2/19?
Yes.
Could you state who that was requested by?
Dr. James Eric McDonough, requested by you. Yes.
And can you state when those records were first provided or responded to?
It was the date on the public records request, according to the log, is 2/18, and I logged it on 2/19.
Yeah, but on the date completed, can you read the dates completed?
Oh,
or
records
the
provided.
provided?
3/11/2019, 3/15/2019, 3/21/2019, and 3/26/2019.
So you agree that's at least 4 productions on that records request, correct?
That is correct.
And you agree the earliest date responded to is 3/11?
Yes, sir.
Could you look at the first records request on that's dated 2/14?
Yes.
Can you read who it was requested by?
Helen Sordo, Homestead Hospital.
And you would agree that 2/14 is before 2/18, is that correct?
That is correct.
And can you read the date that it was completed or the records were sent?
2/14.
The date completed, the
Date-
right.
For Ellen Sordo, date completed 2/14/2019.
No, I'm sorry. We're still in the first one. I'm sorry. It should be Mark G. Epstein. Do you not see that?
Oh, okay. The first one, Mark G. Epstein. Yes. 3/9/2019, Saturday.
And you agree that 3/9 is before 3/11, correct?
That is correct.
In the next one that has a date, that was the Ellen Soroto.
Yes.
What was the date that was received?
2/14.
And 2/14 is before 2/18, correct?
That is correct.
And can you read the date that was completed?
2/14.
And you agree that 2/14 is before 3/11, correct?
That is correct.
The next one down, that's 2/15. Could you read who that was requested by?
2/15, APD Maleness, Wilfred Jean Baptiste.
Excellent. And what was the date that was submitted?
2/15.
And 2/15 is before 2/18, correct?
That is correct.
And what was the date that those records were sent?
Payment was received March 3rd. Payment received. Received payment. So the records were received the 10th, but the payment was received March 3rd. I don't see if I
would say April 3rd. It's 4/3/19.
yeah, 4/3, April 3rd.
I'm not worried. I understand if you send out an invoice, they don't get the records, they get the payment. But the 3/10/19 is the date that they probably would have been sent the invoice.
Yes,
And 3/10 is before 3/11, correct?
that is correct.
Okay. Let's scroll this down a little bit. If you see where my 2/19 request is, the one right below that is also 2/15. You agree?
Yes, sir.
And can you read the name of the requester?
Grace Holmes.
Okay. And we agree that 2/15 is before 2/18, correct?
Yes, sir.
And what was the date the records were sent?
3/9.
And you agree that 3/9 is before 3/11, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the next one that's 2/20 is canceled, so we'll ignore that one. The next one is filed 2/21. And then the next 3 after that are all filed 2/26. Would you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Would you agree that all those dates are after 2/18?
Yes.
Now, if we look in the right column for the date the records were sent, do you agree all 4 of those records were sent on 3/10?
Yes, sir.
And you agree that 3/10 is before 3/11, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And I would just like to note for the record that the records request that I submitted on 2/18 that shows received on 2/19 is the records request that's being litigated in case number 19-06869. Just a second. I'm going to stop sharing this. And I would like to bring up and that last one is going to be exhibit 2.
The 2019 law is exhibit 2.
Is exhibit 2. Now I want to display exhibit 3, which is the Paula Carbolosa affidavit. And let me get this shared. Can you see the screen, Ms. Chavez?
Yes,
This is affidavit of Paula Carbolosa. And I just want to note, this affidavit was also submitted in the same case, 19-06869. I want to scroll down to paragraph 7. Can you read the second sentence in paragraph 7?
the second sentence regarding plaintiff request, and I provided her with the reports.
No, the second sentence in the paragraph, it starts with the HPD.
Oh, okay, got it. The HPD responds to public records requests in the order that they are received.
And HPD would be Homestead Police Department. That's where Paula Carbolosa works.
Yes,
Okay. Do you agree that HPD did not respond to my request in the order it was received based on what we just looked at?
it appears so. Yes, sir.
So do you agree that this statement in this affidavit is inaccurate?
Objection to form.
I'm not sure how to respond.
Do you believe with respect to me in that records request that her statement that HPD responds in the order that the records requests are received is an accurate statement?
Objection, you're asking for her opinion on this. She's here to testify about her personal knowledge.
Okay.
Matters per the court order.
All right. Could you read the third and fourth sentences in paragraph 7?
The third and fourth.
The third and fourth.
At the time the city received the plaintiff's petition, there were still numerous pending prior requests from other requesters that had been submitted prior to plaintiff's public records request. As a result, the reports have not yet been provided to the city clerk.
Would you agree that we just reviewed requests that were submitted before my request and produced before my request?
Right, but
And we also reviewed data that showed requests filed after my request were also produced before my request. Is that correct?
that is correct.
So would you agree, based on the excerpts of the logs that we just reviewed, that there were not numerous pending prior records requests that would justify a delay in producing my records?
Objection to form.
You can answer the question.
I don't know, Dr. Madonna, how the police department managed the records, but I can tell you that as soon as we receive responsive records, we give that to the requester.
No, I understand, and
Yeah.
this is not at the clerk's office. This is all Homestead Police Department. I'm
Yeah.
just saying that
Mhm.
you do agree with me based on the records that we just reviewed that this statement made is not accurate for justification for why I had a delay.
Objection to form. She gave you her answer.
Okay. Stop sharing this. And let's go and look at the 2021 police logs. Let me get this shared over. Okay, you might want to open this PDF up yourself. You might have a bigger view on your own screen than this screen. If you want to do that, I'll give you a minute to open it.
Thank you, Doctor. And this is 2021, correct? Yeah?
This is 2021. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, no problem.
And so I'll just state columns are vertical and rows are horizontal.
Got it.
Could you look at the second, third, and fourth horizontal rows? And can you state their color and read what they say?
The fourth one,
The second, third, and fourth.
second, third, and fourth.
It's a blue, a green, and an orange.
Oh, invoices, duplicate requests, James McDonough.
Is there a reason that my requests get a special color?
That's me. That was me.
That was you?
That
Okay.
was me. That was me.
Okay.
Yes. I yeah. I
Well,
gave you special color.
no, and that's fine. It actually makes it a lot nicer to track through the next two logs we have to go through. So I actually appreciate that. And
Yeah.
no worries at all. That's fair
And you
enough.
know what, doctor, it's just since I was the one that mainly at that time was dealing with police record matters, I wanted to make sure that when it comes, whether it's you or records requests with invoices, records requests that had litigation tied to it, then I would put that color. But yours was a special one.
Does anybody else get a color other than me?
Yes, anything with invoices, duplicate requests.
No,
And
does anybody get their own special color the way I do?
well, no, I gave it to you.
Okay. No, I just want to make. I couldn't
special.
see any other colors for anybody else but me.
No.
So, okay, I'd like you to look at PRR PD 546.
Yes, sir.
Could you state the date received?
1/3/2021.
Okay, and could you state the requester?
James Eric McDonough.
And can you state the date that it was completed or responded to?
No. Completed by LP, which is I'm sorry, yes. 1/7/2021. Yes.
Now I'd like you to look at 547, 548, 549, and 550. Those were all submitted after my request. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And I would like for you to look at the dates that those were completed. Are those dates all before my request was completed?
Yes.
Do you agree this is a second instance of my request not being responded to by Homestead Police Department in the order in which it was received?
Objection form.
You can answer the question.
I get the responses from the police department, and I'm not sure how their process is on that end. Why some responses get to have an answer before others do, but
Well, I understand you're not doing the police department records, and Paula Carbolosa testified that they respond in the order they're received. You agree in these requests, they were all submitted after my request, but all completed before my request. Is that correct?
yes, sir.
So do you agree this is a second instance of Homestead Police Department not following their policy to respond in the order in which the request was received?
Objection to form.
And if you don't agree, could you explain how they followed policy?
And I'm gonna answer honestly, I'm not sure why, I don't know how the process is on how they respond on their end
No,
to us.
that's fair enough. It doesn't matter their process, but you agree if their policy is to respond in the order they received, that the policy was not followed. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is a second instance. I would now like you to look at request 610. Could you state the date received?
610. 2/24.
Let's see. Okay. And can you read the requester?
James Eric McDonough.
And can you read the date that the invoice was sent?
Send deposit invoice to requester, 3/23.
Okay. Now I'd like you to look at number 611. Do you agree this request was submitted after my request?
Yes, sir.
Do you agree that this request was responded to before my request?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I'd like you to look at 613 through 623. I'm trying to see if I can get, I don't think I can get them all on my screen at the same time. That's might be easier for you to.
I have it open on my end, sir.
Okay. Would you agree that requests 613 through 623 were all submitted after my request?
Yes,
Do you agree they were all responded to before my request?
yes,
As 13 requests were filed after mine, but responded to before mine, would you agree this is a third instance of my request not being responded to by HPD in the order in which it was received?
Objection to form.
It's the same thing last time. Either you agree, yes, that they didn't, or if no, I'd like you to explain how they followed their policy.
I don't know why I don't know how they do their processes on their end, but I understand what you're asking.
So you agree that their policy was not followed, correct?
Objection to form. Again, Ms. Chavez is here to testify about her personal knowledge.
Yes, and she's the
For
fact,
her to
she's
testify
the
about.
fact witness of this, so I'm getting her to agree and confirm that based on the policy that Homestead Police Department uses, and based on the evidence that she actually provided, I got this in a public records request, that the policy wasn't followed. It's a simple yes or no.
Sure, so she can authenticate the document if she's worked on it and helped create it, but you're asking for her opinion.
Okay, Mr. Zescon,
Provide
that's
analysis.
fine. Sylvia, please note that those were 13 separate requests and that was a third instance of Homestead Police Department not following their policy. Next, I would like you to look at request 612. Could you read the date on that request?
3/2/2021.
Okay. And can you read who filed that request?
Ramiro Horta.
And can you read the date that was first responded to?
3/24/2021. I'm sorry. Yes, 3/24/2021.
Okay. Now, I would like you to look at 613 to 624. Would you agree that those were all submitted after request 612?
Yes, sir.
Do you agree that these requests were all completed or responded to before request 612 was?
Yes,
Do you agree with respect to my partner, Ramiro Horta, that HPD did not follow its policy and respond to his request in the order in which it was received?
Objection to form.
Should be a simple yes or no question.
The same objection as before. She can testify factually.
Mr. Zescon, I want to stop you right there. You can see objection to form. You have been warned by Judge Rodriguez not to make speaking objections. The next time you say one word past objection to form, I'm pausing this deposition and we're going back in front of Judge Rodriguez and you can explain to him why you want to bully me as a pro se.
Dr. McDonough, I'm not trying to bully you as a pro se. The judge set forth strict parameters
And he
about,
said I could ask about this. I've read the order. You should too.
about solely as a fact witness related to her knowledge. You're asking her to provide an opinion and to provide an analysis on what the numbers and the dates in the chart mean.
And that's nice. The next time you say that, I'm pausing the deposition and we're going in front of Rodriguez. You can see objection to form and not a word more, sir. You are attempting to influence my witness. This is improper. This is not the first time you've done it. You've been warned after I called you out the first time. Do not do it again.
So just as a question, is it your position that you are entitled to exceed the scope of the court's order and all I can say is objection? Is that your position?
That is not my position, and that's not what the court order said at all. And if you want to instruct the witness not to answer the question or you want to certify the question, that's absolutely fine with me. But I do not want you to say another word beyond object to form or certify the question. Do we understand ourselves? Would you agree to that?
Proceed with your questions.
Is there any policy you're aware of to treat my partner, Mr. Orta, or request from True Homestead differently than others?
Objection to form.
You can answer the question.
Can you ask it again, Dr. McDonough?
Is there any policy you are aware of to treat my partner, Mr. Orta, or request from True Homestead differently than others?
No, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now I would like you to look at request 653.
Got it.
Can you state the date that request was submitted
2/24.
and who submitted it
James Eric McDonough.
and when was it responded to or completed?
4/23.
Okay. I'd now like you to look at request 654 and 655. Do you agree these requests were submitted after my request?
Yes, sir.
Do you agree they were all responded to before my request?
Yes.
Now I'd like you to look at request 657. Do you agree this request was submitted after my request?
Yes.
Do you agree this request was responded to before my request?
Objection to form.
Dr. McDonough, you're talking about the one ending 0657?
657, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, response was provided 7/28.
Hold on a second. When was the invoice sent?
Send deposit invoice 4/22.
And 4/22 is before 4/23, correct?
That is correct.
So that request was responded to before my request, even though it was submitted after my request. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm just noting that these were 3 requests and the 4th instance of HPD not following their policy when responding to my request. I would now like you to look at public records request 754. And when you get there, could you state the date that it was submitted
6/3/2021.
and the requester?
McDonough versus City of Homestead.
And can you state the date that it was first responded to?
7/27/2021.
Excellent. Now I'd like you to look at requests 755 through 764. Do you agree that those requests were all submitted after my request?
Yes, sir.
Do you agree they were all responded to before my request?
Yes, sir.
Now I would like you to look at records 766 through 772. Do you agree these were all submitted after my request?
Yes.
Do you agree they were all responded to before my request?
Yes.
Now I'd like you to look at records 774 through 780. Do you agree these requests were all submitted after my request?
Yes.
Do you agree they were all responded to before my request?
Yes, sir.
I'd just like to note that's 24 separate requests submitted after mine, produced before mine, in a fifth instance of Homestead Police Department not following their policy and responding to my records request.
Objection to form, move to strike.
That's, do whatever you want, sir. I would like, well, yeah, I have to do that since you won't let her answer simple yes or no question, and you're coaching my witness, which I really don't appreciate. But anyway, we'll continue. I'd now like you, and that's not against you, Miss Chavez, at all. Me and Zescon, he doesn't like to respect me, so I have to let him know I'm not dealing with this crap sometimes. I'd like you to look at records 861.
Yes, sir.
Could you state the date received
9/7/2021.
in the requester?
James Eric McDonough.
And now I'd like you to look at 862 through 868. Do you agree these requests were all submitted after my request?
Yes, sir.
Do you agree they were all responded to before my request?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just like to note that that's 7 requests submitted after mine, produced before mine, in a 6th instance of Homestead not following their policy. Homestead Police Department would be clear. I would like you to look at public records request 959.
Yes.
Could you state the date received?
12/06/2021.
The requester
James Eric McDonough.
and the date completed responded to.
10/20/2021.
Okay, now I would like you to look at requests labeled as 690 through 964 or 960 through 964. Do you agree these requests were all submitted after my request?
Yes, sir.
Do you agree they were all responded to on the same day or before my request?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to note that this is 4 more requests submitted after mine, produced before mine, in a 7th instance of Homestead Police Department not following its policy.
Objection to form.
Okay, I'm done with this. I'll stop sharing. And now let's go to the 2021 log and let me pull that up and share that. Okay, this is another one that's probably make you go blind looking at through share. You might want to pull up yourself, and I'll give you a minute to pull it up if you want to let me know when you're ready.
I got it on my end, Dr. McDonough.
Oh, okay, and we'll call this
Just
exhibit
to make
5.
sure we're clear on the record, I think previously you had up the 2021 log.
Yes, this is 2020,
Okay.
right?
Right. So what, Sylvia, what was 2021 log marked as?
Number 4, I'm assuming.
So now, Dr. McDonough, did you mark the 2021?
The 2021 is exhibit 4, and
Okay.
this should be exhibit 5.
So now we're on 2020 log. Okay.
2020 log will be exhibit 5, yes.
Great. Just wanted to make sure we're clear on the record.
I appreciate that. I want to make sure we're very clear either. If I misspoke, please forgive me. Okay. I'd like you to look at public records request 150.
150. Yes.
And could you state the date received
4/17.
and the requester
James Eric McDonough.
and the date first responded to?
5/1/2020.
Okay. I'd now like you to look at 151 through 152. Do you agree these requests were all submitted after my request?
Yes, sir.
Do you agree they were all responded to before my request?
Yes, sir.
I note this is 2 more requests submitted after mine, produced before mine, in an 8th instance of Homestead Police Department not responding to my records in the order that was received.
Objection
I
to
now would like you to look at record 256.
Yes.
And could you state the date
6/11/2020.
That's the date received, correct?
They received, yes.
I'm sorry. I should have been more precise in my answer. That's my fault. Thank
It's
you,
okay.
Julissa.
You're
And can
welcome.
you state the requester?
James Eric Madonna.
And can you state the earliest date that this was responded to?
To you,
Yes.
9/18/2020.
The earliest date I'm seeing is
Actually, I'm
9/3.
sorry, 9/3/2020.
And that's why I say the earliest date, because some of these have one date, some of them have 4 or 5 dates. I just want to make sure we're dealing with the earliest date, so
Yes, sir.
everything follows.
Yes.
I would now like you to look at records request 257 through 278. And it might take you a minute to look through those. I'm going to ask the same questions. Do you agree these were all submitted after my request?
Yes, sir.
Do you agree they were all responded to before my request?
Yes, sir.
Now I would like you to look at records 280 through 289. And I would ask the same questions. Do you agree these records requests were all submitted after my request?
Yes.
And do you agree they were all responded to before my request?
Yes.
Now I'd like you to look at 291 through 319. And again, the same 2 questions. Do you agree they were all submitted after my request?
319. Yes, sir.
Do you agree they were all responded to before my request?
Yes.
Now I would like you to look at requests labeled as 321 through 344. And again, the same 2 questions. Do you agree these requests were all submitted after my request?
Yes.
Do you agree they were all responded to before my request?
Yes.
Now I would like you to look at 346 through 360. Again, the same 2 questions. Do you agree these requests were all submitted after my request?
Yes, sir.
Do you agree they were all responded to before my request?
Yes.
Just noting, this is 99 requests submitted after mine, but produced before mine. And 9th instance of Homestead Police Department not responding to my records request in the order in which it was received.
Session to form move to strike.
Next, I would like you to look at record request 420.
420.
And could you state the date received
10/5/2020.
and the requester
James Eric Madonna.
and the date first responded to?
12/11/2020.
Now I'd like you to look at 421 through 424. Do you agree these requests were all submitted after my request?
Yes, sir.
Do you agree they were all responded to before my request?
Yes.
Now I would like you to look at the requests labeled 426 through 439. And again, do you agree these requests were all submitted after my request?
Yes, sir.
Do you agree they were all responded to before my request?
Yes.
Now I would like you to look at requests labeled as 441 through 448. Do you agree these requests were all submitted after my request?
Yes.
Do you agree they were all responded to before my request?
Yes.
Now I'd like you to look at requests labeled 450 through 464. Do you agree these requests were all submitted after my request?
Yes, sir.
Do you agree they were all responded to before my request?
Yes.
I'd just like to note this is 40 requests submitted after my request, but responded before my request in a 10th instance of Homestead Police Department not responding to my request in the order in which it was received.
Objection to form, move to strike.
I'd now like you to look at request 465.
Yes.
And the date received,
10/26/2020.
the requester,
James McDonough.
and the earliest date responded to.
11/12/2020.
Now I'd like you to look at records request 466 through 469. Do you agree these requests were all submitted after my request?
Yes, sir.
Do you agree they were all responded to before my request?
Yes.
Now I would like you to look at the request labeled as 471. Do you agree this request was submitted after my request?
Yes.
Do you agree it was responded to before my request?
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to note this is 5 records requests submitted after mine, but produced before mine. In an 11th instance of Homestead Police Department, not responding to my request in the order in which it was received.
Objection to form, move to strike.
I would like you to look at public records request 534.
Yes.
Could you state the date received
12/21/2020.
and the requester
James McDonough.
and the earliest date responded to?
2/8/2021.
Okay. And I'd now like you to look at 535 through 536.
Yes.
Do you agree that these were both submitted after my request?
Yes, sir.
Do you agree they were both responded to before my request?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to note this is 2 records requests submitted after mine, but produced before mine in a 12th instance of Homestead Police Department, not responded to my request in the order in which it was received.
Objection to form, move to strike.
I would like you to look at public records request 539.
Yes.
Could you state the date received
12/21/2020.
and the requester
James McDonough.
and the earliest date responded to?
1/25/2021.
I would now like you to look at 542 through 545. Do you agree these requests were all submitted after my request?
Yes, sir.
Do you agree they were all responded to before my request?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to note this is 4 more requests submitted after my request, but produced before my request. In a 13th instance of Homestead Police Department not responding to my request in the order in which it was received.
Objection to form, move to strike.
Based on your expertise in public records law, do you believe the public records laws are being broken?
Objection. That's an improper question. She's not an expert witness and is not here to give her opinion. She's here to testify about her personal knowledge.
Based on everything we've talked about today, do you agree my public records requests get treated differently than others at Homestead Police Department?
Do I feel that I'm sorry, can you repeat that again, Dr. McDonough?
Based on everything that we've talked about today, do you agree my public records requests get treated differently than others, at least within inside Homestead Police Department?
I'm not sure why records requests are handled the way they handle the police department.
Would you agree there was 13 instances where we reviewed that my records requests were not responded to in the order in which they were received?
Objection to form.
You can answer the question.
I'm not sure how to answer that. I don't know why the delays on some things.
But you agree that we went through 13 separate records requests I filed where multiple others filed after me but received their request before me. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I have no further questions. Read or waive?
The witness will read.
Okay, real quick, Mr. Zeskine, before we leave, you should now be on due and proper notice that Ms. Carbolosa's affidavit was falsified. And I want to know within 5 business days, will you contact the court and withdraw that, or do I need to contact the court and the bar myself?
I'm not sure what you're asking, Dr. McDonough.
Paula Carbolosa filed a false affidavit on behalf of your clients to justify their unlawful withholding. You're now fully, completely on due and proper notice that that affidavit is false. Under Order Bar Rule 4-3.3, you have an obligation to notify the court and have that withdrawn. If you don't do it, I'll do it myself and I'll file a bar complaint as well. I'm not saying you knew about it was false when it got filed, but you know it's now, and it's your obligation and duty, sir.
You threatening a bar complaint, Dr. McDonough?
I'm threatening if you don't follow the bar rule, I will file a bar complaint. It's not a threat, it's a promise. Are you stating that you're totally cool with your clients filing false evidence and you just letting it go?
Dr. McDonough, I am not stating that at all. I wanted to make sure it was clear exactly what you were threatening.
I wasn't threatening anything. I was promising that if you don't do your duty to meet your candor towards the tribunal under Florida Bar Rule 4-3.3, I will file a bar complaint for your unethical behavior. That's really simple.
Okay. So
Okay. You got anything else?
No, you're complaining about the Carbolosa affidavit?
Yes, it's false. It's patently false.
I understand that's your position, Dr. McDonough.
That's
I
fine.
also-
If your position is not false, then you can do what you do and I'll do what I'll do, buddy. I just warn you as a courtesy, as a respectful gentleman. You got nothing else? Have a great day, sir.
You too.
God bless. You're free to go, Julissa.
Okay.
You have a great
no problem.
day. Thank you so much for your time. No animosities at you whatsoever. Sorry you had to
No
suffer.
problem, Dr. Madonna. Thank you.
God bless.
God bless you too.